Hey, what's good, everybody? It's your boy, Tony Max. Y'all know I do it to the max. Coming back at y'all again with another fantastic episode of Truth to Life, where we discuss real-life issues that affect real-life people in real, everyday life. Well, in today's issue, guys, we're going to discuss one statement. And this is a pretty universal statement because it applies to most folks that are not focused on themselves and the big picture of life. And here's the statement. Most people would rather die than to change. I'll get closer and I'll say it again. Most people would rather die than change. Gee, well, what do you mean, Tony Max? That's a great question. I'm glad you asked. We're going to discuss the nuts and bolts of it. So, I hope you got your pen and your pad. You ready? Come on. Let's dig in. Okay, you guys. Here's the deal. Life is hard on its own, period, right? Well, what happens is that who we become as children based on the stimuli that we received when we were children, who we become after we, mature into adults, it's a combination of many different factors. Environment plays a part in the role. Home plays the biggest part in the role, whether we had two parents, for the most part, reading influences by our friends and other adults that we look up to. All these things play key factors into who we become and as adults, because all these things, they work in a cumulative effect in order to culminate the ultimate result of the personality of the adult. Well, we all have our idiosyncrasies, just like everyone else, right? Well, here's the deal. When we have our personalities pretty much established, which is roughly around 8 years old, according to research, we begin to act from there and draw from there. Now, here's where that can be a problem. After we become young adults, teenagers and young adults, here's what happens. If that person that we've become is not productive to the degree to where we feel that we're living what we're supposed to be living and how we're supposed to be living, in other words, we're getting the most out of every day that we're living, then we need to make the necessary adjustments, the changes, so that we can become better. But here's the problem. Most people are content, they're complacent within who they've become, so they refuse to do the work, because self-work, which is introspect on or intra-personal skills, is what we do inside of ourselves, self-work. So when you don't do the work on yourself, you basically are relegated to repeat the same mistakes that you've been making because you have not made any changes within yourself. Most of life, or all of life, is self-work. In order to make yourself a better person, you have to make yourself a higher value person. And the way to make yourself more value is by making investments within yourself. So if you don't go get any psychological help, like any therapy, or if you're not reading any books, if you're not making any changes within yourself to make yourself better, then how can you possibly become more value? Here's the deal. Here's how that translates. It's like this. If you want to get a certain job or a certain career, right, what do you have to do? You have to go to school to learn certain things so that you can become proficient. Well, it's the same logic, bro. If you want to become a good husband, what do? You make an investment within yourself. We're not born with a built-in instruction manual on autopilot of how to be a good husband or how to be a good wife, for that matter. We have to do the work. Despite what we see demonstrated in front of us, we need to read books in order to educate ourselves on how to become more, to do more, and to be more. But if we're not responsible then enough to put in the necessary work within ourselves, then how can we possibly expect to learn and grow? You see what I'm saying? See, people that come from two-parent homes, on an average, not talking about the occasional crazy fool, but on an average, most children that are raised in two-parent homes are well equipped with the information to go and acquire more information in any particular area that you'd like to become proficient at. And I would assume that in order for us to be proficient as good husbands, not just some dude that got married, good husbands, then it's going to require a certain level of reading and investment of reading materials and education in order to increase our husband value. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not even saying that I'm going to get married. Don't know if I want to get married, but just in case I do, I want to make sure that I'm the best possible man that I can possibly be, so that what I bring to the table, she will be very pleased with it. And and not only that, but so that I can actually have the credentials to demand higher quality of wife. I demand a higher or the highest quality of wife because I am the highest quality of husband. And don't get it twisted, it is an ongoing process of learning. It's an ebb and flow, you guys, within any relationship. These are requisite components to facilitate the culmination of your desired result of a good, healthy marriage. It's not going to always be good, it's not going to always be bad, but having that chemistry is the glue that's going to keep you guys on an ongoing upward mobility path toward success over time. Having a good marriage, and communication is key. So it's like you have to be willing to do the work, because if you're not willing to do the work, you guys, then how can you possibly expect to have any measurable, long-lasting results over time? This is just not a logical thing to do. You don't just go out and go get married. Oh, okay, I want to marry her. Come on, shawty, let's go get married. Let's go out on a couple of dates and then get married. Now, it's a lot of conversations that need to take place. Money management. You need to see how she handles stress. And I've heard the ish test stuff that be going on, but that's really something that's going to be measured while you guys are actually in a relationship, and as you encounter disagreements and arguments, etc. Which is why having those interpersonal skills are so necessary. But again, you have to do the work on yourself first. Self-work first. Ladies, you gotta work on yourselves first. For those of you that want to be wives, those of y'all that want to be boppers and buy a dog and die alone, or buy a cat and die alone because you think you got it all figured out and you think that you the table and etc. etc. Okay, y'all go do y'all. I'm not talking to y'all. I'm only talking to those women who want to get married, and I'm only talking to those men who want to get married. You want to marry a good, high quality woman? Ladies, you want to marry a good, high quality man? Well, these are the things that you're going to look for. It's going to be conversations. Don't get it mistaken though, because the introduction is going to be the physical appearance. Okay, I like a guy that has short hair or long hair or whatever. He's handsome, he takes care, his hygiene is straight, he smells good, looks good, dresses well. Bet he got a little bread about him. Okay, so now let me delve in and go in a little deeper and see how he thinks, how he conducts himself, as far as a father figure, as far as how he treats his mother and the women in his family, and things like that. Women think like this, fellas, on an average. It's us that needs to really up our game and really start being much more critical about who we allow in our lives, because who we allow in our lives can affect our lives in either a positive way or a negative way. And you don't want someone that's going to detract from who you are and what you have going on, especially if you're already in the process of progress, which is why I say go down in looks quickly. I will quickly compromise looks over in order to achieve a higher quality of character. Because character is far more important than looks. Keep this in mind. Looks fade over time, regardless of how bad she is or whatever the case may be. Yeah, it's still some ladies that look good at 40. It's still some that look good at 50. But trust me, bro, we hold on to it as men a lot longer than they hold on to it as women. You have to be willing to make the changes in yourself. The people that don't want to change are the people that are going to remain stagnant, and they're going to die. They're going to live miserable lives, and they're going to die a miserable life. Why? Because they do not want to change. Only people who embrace change and continuous growth, Zycan, are those who live healthier lives and higher qualities of lives. If you're not willing to grow and change for self-improvement, that's why it's called self-improvement, because you are to improve yourself. You do the work yourself. No one is going to do it for you. No one can do it for you. You have to be willing to do this for yourself. It's for your own benefit anyway. So why wouldn't you? Why? I'll answer that. Because it's hard. Life is hard, work is hard. Self-work is even harder because it's an ongoing basis, and you're going to have to hold yourself accountable every time you look yourself in the mirror. So no one wants to hold themselves accountable every time they look in the mirror. Those who are complacent with life anyway, those who are in opposition to change and growth, those who are conditioned to believe that they can do no better than what they're already doing, or don't even have any desires to do any better than what they're doing. They're fine with it. So I'm not even talking to you. I'm only talking to those of you who seek change and want better for yourselves in life. So for those of you that would rather die than to change, that's exactly what you're going to do. You're going to die because you're going to die a miserable, horrible life because you're not willing to do the work to change within yourself. Those of you that are willing to do the work, then you're going to live a higher quality of life because you're learning and growing on a day-by-day basis. So, stay away from people, being my ultimate point, that don't want to learn, grow, and change, even if that means you rocking by yourself. It's lonely at the top, baby, because everybody's not willing to put in the work. It's hard to get there, and it's lonely once you do get there. Do you see eagles flying with anybody else? Eagles don't fly with nobody else. Eagles fly alone. Why? Because they eagles. Top dog in the food chain. And to be a top dog in the food chain, it's going to take a lot of work and effort and sacrifice, dedication, and perseverance over time. But you're going to get there eventually, if that's really what you want and if you want it bad enough. And when you do, guess what? You're going to be there by yourself with other eagles. You will encounter other eagles periodically, but you're going to be by yourself, bro, for the most part, more than likely. You can't take everybody with you. You're going to have to shed a lot of those friendships and relationships. That's just how it goes. I stayed one day. Ain't nothing but me and Jesus. That's it. So, hey, just so y'all know, you ain't alone, baby. I already know, I already feel it. Just saying. So, with that being said, I hope y'all learned a little something. Thanks for the love and support. Keep those subscriptions coming. Don't forget, if you're on your PC or your laptop in the upper right-hand corner, you'll see the banner where I have links. You can click on those links for ways to support the channel. If you're on your phone or your tablet, you can look up under the video where it says read more or show more, and you'll see the ways for you to support the channel there. The music that you hear in the background is mine. I'm a producer and / artist, so I do all types of music. I love music, is what I was created to do, and I'm working on my latest projects right now, but you can actually use that as a venue or an avenue to support the channel as well. And my latest project that I will be releasing will be sometime soon, and you guys will be first to be notified as you click the notification bell and click all. That'll let YouTube know that you want to be notified for all of my newest and latest releases of recent content. So, again, I really appreciate you guys. Till next we meet. Peace and progress to you, baby. Mwah.
think you wanna fall in love with a nigga that's so player? Do you really think you wanna fall in love with a nigga that's so player? I'm so player. I'll make a woman lose her cool if she stands too close. I'm so player. More trill than real, and more player than most. So player. I'll cause the above average man to bring his pen and pad to class. I know sometimes I need to slow my roll, cause I be talking too fast. Sometimes a girl might get caught in my pretty web of words. So play. That conversation is stimulation, like surprise and love with her. You say you cool for the ride and ain't tripping with no stress.